Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Smouldering Gaming with me, Christopher. We're back with Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition and my first playthrough of the game. Well, last time I realized that, following the tips and guides and hints and stuff like that actually is a good thing, because I was told about a woman on the first floor of the mortuary, and I sort of glanced over that. I didn't see a body, so I felt that, that's fair. Nothing I can do anything about. Turns out she was extremely important, because that woman, I don't know exactly what our connection is entirely, but I would assume that we have at least at one point been like lovers or something. I was able to actually get a nice little skill from her, so under my special abilities I now have Raise Dead. That is something that costs a lot in Baldur's Gate, but I have it for free 3 times a day. I don't know exactly why I need 3 times a day. Is this game expecting people to die a lot in this game? I don't know, but yeah. I can raise dead a lot of times. So that's good. And as far as this place, this entire place, I can't get to the lower wards, the Clerk's Ward, the Alley of Lingering Sighs, or the Buried Village. I can only go to Ragpicker Square apart from the Hive, and I think that I've done sort of most of what I can do here. Porphyron's Necklace, Group of Thugs in the Hive, Bar that burns inside, dressed in red and black. Ooh, we could do that one, I think. Let's head off to southeastern part. That is also a place I haven't been in, if I am entirely correct. The bar that burns inside. I think that did I just get stuck? I think that might be in here. So if I go, if I go here. Is this the bar that burns inside? The Smouldering Corpse Bar? Yes, it is. So, the guys that I identified before, these 3 guys. Yeah. Let's have a chat with you guys. So, heavyset thug swathed in rags, dyed red and black. Looks like it's made of almost purely muzzle. He glows at you as you approach. Hello! And how can I help you then, Governor? This man, are you a Cockney person? Apparently you're a Cockney person. This man's face breaks into a sneer. Looks to me like you need a healer. Well, were you the people who robbed a monk in the Hive and took his prayer bead necklace? Well, some sod with lines scrawled over his face claimed he could put us all in the dead book, yet was bobbing blind. Magus a slow-toothed smile. Never even heard such a sod. I haven't. Ooh, but you picked out his recognition, or rather his appearance, very, very well. So, I could lie and say the rest of his order is looking for you. The brothers Eric Ag seem to know you quite well. Could say that. I am a bit charismatic. Or we can say an agreement. No value for Nexus for you, and I could buy it. Or maybe give the Nexus board I put you in the dead book. Let's try a lie here. So, what are you on about? What brothers? It's almost alone he was. Well, he's a member of a religious order, you fool. That necklace you stole is their most holy relic. If it's returned, the rest of his order will come looking for you, and they don't have any reservation about killing thieves. Ooh, see, that worked. 500 experience. And I was just keeping the relic for him. Yeah, right. He reaches into the folder's robe and pulls forth the necklace, which he hands carefully to you. Here it is. No harm done, eh? Well, I hope this is enough to call off the rest of the order. Perhaps a donation to their cause is in order as well. It might help smooth things over and ward off any curses that might come your way. Let's try it.
Updated my journal.
Curses? The man makes a semi-circle over his heart. Well, now, wouldn't want any of that. He reaches into the purse in his belt and hands over several copper coins. Take it with me blessing. Thank you for that. So you've done that. I think that he was in the first place, right? Does it in the Hive is four sections of the Hive. Do I care about the bar? You know what, since we're here, let's go into the bar. I haven't even been in here. There's most likely going to be, and of course there's people. Are you going to attack me as well? Yep, yeah, you are. You go away, you attack. Oh, there's actually 4 of them even.
I'm gone.
So there we go. Let's just go around the back of you. There we go. Both of you attack this one, so that I don't take too much damage like that. Yes, exactly what I didn't want to happen. We should be able to make short work of these, though. That's some healing, which is nice. Ooh, more healing. Very, very nice. Like myself a bit of healing. Right. There's a lot of thugs that just wants to kill you. It's a bit annoying. You come up ahead first. There we go. Ooh, that's a nice crit. Good job. A bit of money. Right. I want to see this burning bar. Ooh, that is indeed burning bar. That is indeed a burning corpse. Drusilla. Haven't I seen you before? Feels like a name that I've already encountered. Never mind. This is a woman with fading bruises on her face and arms, and a look of despairing longing in her sunken eyes. She might have been pretty once, but those days were long ago. She turns slowly to face you. Life pours into her features, and the spark of sardonic light that dances in her eyes now make you wonder if your eyes were deceiving you. Welcome to the Smouldering Corpse, scarred man. Well, who are you? I am Drusilla. You must be clueless. Don't ask me how I know that. It just shines off you. Well, apparently I'm clueless because I don't know you, I guess. Well, I think not. She smirks at you, bruises seems almost to fade. Whatever you say, dearie. Well, whatever. Let's pose some questions. I am looking for a journal. Any chance you've seen one? Well, oh, sure. I've kept an eye out for all stray journals. That's in case some scarred man walks into my favorite bar and starts asking about it. You ask out of everyone you meet? It was a fascinating life. And yes, indeed, I do ask out of everyone I meet. Thank you for asking. Well, you do have a smart mouth, don't you? Well, smart mouth for a smart head, eh? This addled cove you might think, sod. I got a brain on me. Well, answer my questions then, bastard. So what is this place, anyway? Well, this is a smoldering corpse, though the person smoldering ain't dead yet. He's keeping himself alive until someone comes along to help him out. So it's like to see people in pain come here. Fiends like it. Folks who don't much care for being bothered come here too. The name alone keeps out most of the perks. So what you're saying is that you're alive, but also not? So who's that guy?
Updated my journal.
Well, the despair you saw on her face becomes, before it flits across it again, like a black winch shadow before the masters herself. That's Ignis, one of the greatest wizards ever to come out of this slummy excuse for a cesspool. They caught him and they opened a channel to the plane of fire through him, and now he's just a doorway for it, keeping himself alive by force of will alone. If someone could douse him for a few moments, I'd give him his life back again, but they don't make enough water to do with that. Interesting. Well, maybe we can find some? Well, apparently she doesn't really accept that. So indeed, I'm looking for Farad. Ever heard of or seen him? The Collector King? Ooh, that's a fancy title. You can probably find him and his stinking ilk in the trash wars on the far side of the hive. Good luck getting in, or rather good luck in getting an answer from him. He's a sly devil, he is. Okay, fair enough. And, yeah, I think I'm good. Goodbye. So we have a lot of people. Oh, there's just so many people here. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. Okay, Kendrian. Who's a Kendrian? You seem a bit like not altogether there. Soft-looking man with gentle, far-staring eyes. He dresses in supple leather clothing and carries various implements of use and destruction about his body, such as ropes, spikes, tinderboxes, and empty vials of air. Very important, those vials of air. He looks half gone, literally. There's an insubstantiality to his existence, as if his essence had been partially leached away. He focuses those eyes on you, and suddenly you find him gripping and determined. Greetings, you, O Seeker. Well, hello. He carefully sets down the mug he's holding and gives you all his attention. I have seen the far reaches of the multiverse and returned to tell the tale. I have walked upon the bodies of dead gods and spun moonbeams in the astral ahead of 1,000 shrieking Githyanki knights. I have passed the edges of existence and watched my essence shiver away before me. What is it I can do for you? Have you seen my journal? Yep, I'm looking for a journal. Who are you, actually? You are Kendrian Illborn, traveler, dreamer, tailspinner, and so forth. Okay, so what about traveling the planes? What's up with that? I'm tired, Seeker, so tired. I'm fresh back from the negation. I will answer what I can for you, but I cannot promise you that you will find satisfaction in the answers I give. What would you know? Would you hear of the outer planes, the prime material, or the inner planes? So what about the outer planes? Well, the outer planes, where should I start? Do you know the cardinal rules of the planes on which all others are based? Do you know about the composition of the outer planes? Do you know the Great Ring and its divisions in our hearts? Do you know the individual planes? Each of these leads to the next, and so it's best to start from the beginning. Okay, wow, there's a lot of stuff that I can read here. Oh boy. And, well, there's a lot of information there, let's just say that. So yeah, we talked a bit about, rather he explained a bit about the planes, and some of them actually were pretty damn close to the alignment grid that you have in Dungeons & Dragons with neutrality and chaos and lawful and stuff like that. So sort of, some of the planes are basically divided up into these alignments, which is, you know, kind of cool. So, indeed, what are you doing here, then? Well, flashback from negation, yes I know, we've talked about that. Have you seen my journal, by the way? No journals, and that has crumbled away into nothingness, indeed. And, yeah, what can you tell me about Farad, or if you've heard Farad? Ooh, he grew up to be a collector. You knew Farad before. He was a collector, huh? When I said that last, it was an officious stripling in one of the upper wards. Time does change some people. No secret, I don't know Farad anymore. I'm willing to bet. That is basically everything I want from you. But I did get an item from him. I got a negative token. Wow. Ward against shadows. A flat black disc that appears to have no substance to it at all, which is interesting. Holds shadow creatures temporarily. Well, that's useful. I'll retract my bone charm for that one. That seems fun. You also have the prayer beats right here. Right, that was a lot of text, by the way. What about Ebb Creekness? Do you have slightly less text for me? I mean, not from the beginning, but whatever. You see a slightly stooped old man with a full grey beard and a lion's mane of grey hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor, and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump, and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well now, are you a sight, lad? Never have seen so many scars blackening a fella, like a scar cloak you're wearing. Where you been hanging out with a grain thresher? He laughs. I'm just jesting with you, lad. No offense meant, and I hope no offense taken. I'm Ebb. Hello, Ebb. His handshake is firm. Now I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smoothen your ruffled feathers? Well, why not, eh? Well, that's the spirit, lad. By the moment, he raises his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he returns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad, drink up. He takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe and says, what can old Ebb do for you on this fine sigil day? Well, I have a question about my journal. Apparently not. Well, I get at that, just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look like, you look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. And, so what can I help you with? You need to know the lay of the land. Well, who are you? And, he's Ebb Creekness. I thought it was Creekness, but no, Creekness. Third measure of the harmonium. Now retired and being a tout, a tout with one's voice is a don't step as lightly as I might these past 2 or 3 decades. Now, lad, who be you? And what trouble might you be in? Well, what about this third measure of the harmonium? Sounds like some music thing. Well, he puffs up slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. Well, I haven't served a tour of duty in many decades. Pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in. So I just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here to high and helping out a little where I can. You look like someone who might need a hand. Are you some kind of trouble? Well, a fair few troubles. But yeah, what about the fights and skirmishes? What kinds have you been in? Well, he rolls his eyes. More than I can remember, lad. Well, almost more than I can remember, lest-wise. I did an all too long tour in the Blood War, that infernal muck-up war of lies and terrors, far too many years in the Black Centuries War, and, well, there was the Three Plains War and many others. I even took part in the Harmonium War of Liberation. Oh, towards the end there, I was also in the Sigil City Watch. Some could argue that that was the most dangerous of them all. And, yeah, indeed. He laughs loudly in the mention of Blood War. Feels like a cold dagger slipping into your heart. Ooh, apparently I I do recognize the Blood War here. So, the Blood War, the most dangerous family feud this side of the primordial soup. A mean-spirited mob of fiends on one side and a batch of warmonger fiends on the other. I wonder which side I was on. It's the war that creation sparked, and they've been digging into each other ever since. Okay, so what kind of fiends are you talking about? The Tanari, vicious killers who care for none but themselves, and the Batisu war machine, all for law and order under their infernal rules. The whole mess spills out into other places from time to time, and has made the multiverse a less pleasant place to be. Okay, fair enough. And, right. What's this place that we're in currently? Well, the Smouldering Corpse Bar, not a pretty place as some, but it's got its own homespun kind of charm. So what about the patrons here? Well, we got O, who claims to be a letter instead of a person, some mercy killers waiting around for a criminal, Peru Abishai on furlough from the Blood War, Gitzerai, where there has been watching you from afar. Who's that then? Not too unusual, mind you, they're period cutters. And Elias down there, a clueless kid whose britches seem to be just a bit too tight, if you get my meaning. If you're wanting information on planes, talk to Canyon Ilborn over here. He knows more than most. Yes, he knows so much. So what about the Smouldering Corpse? Well, no corpse dad, no dead or him. Near as we can tell, old Ignis is still alive inside that little roast pit. Near as we can figure anyway. Well, it can smell damnably awful sometimes too. Keeps me on the pipe to make sure it don't worm its way into my nose. It does. So how did it actually get here? And indeed, now lad, Ignis has had a smattering of problems and some not slight wizardly magics to boot, and some of the two mix well, if you understand me. He liked to puffing on this pipe here, would like to burn things. They started torching places and people, and generally making a bunch of trouble. And what? Well, now most of this was going on at the Hive. And I'll be the first to admit that the Hive is not the first place the Harmonium goes to keep Sigil's law. A feeling on our part, since it might be the place where our presence is most needed. So, by the latest reckoning, there was a little street-side justice in the wizardly community. And a bunch of tea leaf readers, hedge wizards, and a midwife witches got together and managed to weave a spell that was kind of poetic justice. So now he sits there and burns. He's still alive, which I don't think they counted on. Does he feel the burning? I don't know. What can you tell me about Farrell if you know about him? Well, what you wanted to with a Burke like Ferd? Well, I think he stole something from me. Well, no doubt, lad, no doubt. You have to chain everything around that grasping little spider. He should have been one of the fated, the way anything not chained down slips into his parlor. Don't give him a yard, he'll take a leak. So what do you know about him? Well, now I don't know everything there is to know about old Farrell, but I know some of the dark surrounding him. If you're determined to track down that spider and nail him to a wall, then I suppose I could spill some of the shad so you know what you're tangled with. He pauses to tamp his pipe. Farrell dug his nest deep into Ragpicker Square not too long ago, got a bunch of collectors and gangs together and started what one could only consider a collecting faction. And be that as it may be. So, yeah, I already know where I can find him, he just told me. But yeah. Again, wow, there's a lot of text for just saying Ragpicker Square. But if you're looking for Farrell, which I would say is pretty barmy of you, you're a little off the beaten path. You want to be finding Ragpicker's Square. Shad is that Farrell set up his skip somewhere in the square. Even an old fella like me has been around the ring a few times, don't know exactly where. I figured that Farrell wants to keep the dark on his location. Keep the dark on his location dark. Yeah. So dark cubed or squared. If you're all bound and determined to find Farrell, go to Ragpicker Square and try and dig up Farrell's location from some of the locals. I have already found his place. Have you seen my journal, by the way? Wow, there's a lot of text. Okay, so probably not. More questions, please. Well, what other places, maybe? Perhaps the best skip you could have wandered into from the start, judging by your tattoos, you might be partial to having the size on your body, in which case there's a tattoo saloon. I know about the Rose Salon, a little spiralwood from here. You want to stay away from the Isle of Dangerous Angles if you can. Well, I already cleared that place out. Ignis torched that place not long ago, and ever since a bunch of bad bloods have set up their kip in that stretch of desert. So that's why that looks like it does. Well, thank you for that, Eb. Now, I'll lay over here. Fresh guy, tight breeches and all of that. Ooh, I don't apparently want to greet this guy. He's certainly a muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to most of the outfits you see in this city. He carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. He also looks dramatically out of place here. What do you want? Well, who are you? A Malay warrior of renown, surely you've heard of me. No. Can it truly be? Can it truly be that none in this town has heard of me or my exploits? Alas, I shall have to prove myself all over again, and here I had thought my fame had spread across the world. Well, what world are you from? I came from the city of Aliburn on the river Tame. Surely you've heard of its glories and wonders? No matter, this place is benighted and ignorant when it comes to the splendors of true cities. I'm told that my land is what is called a prime by the denizens of this city, though a prime of what, I don't know. I don't really think I understood exactly what the prime thing was, prime material or whatever he was talking about. How did you get here then? I was chasing my little foe with a villainous life shade Tyr Tanelel. He pauses waiting for acknowledgement. Well, you seem to think that everyone should know exactly everything you know. That's not exactly how it works. He conjured his demonic magic and opened himself a doorway and hurled himself through it. Before he could flee me entirely, I threw myself after him and found myself here. So, you are apparently one of the clueless. He bristles, reddening his hand, clutched convulsively around the hilt of his sword. Clueless, is it? I think I fenced your words, sirrah, and beat you for a while in the hopes that we should never cross paths again. Hey, I just want to ask you questions. Well, okay, be on with it, scarred one, ask and be done. And don't really need to ask about the place right here. Have you seen my journal, by the way? Where would I have seen that? When I entered this place, how would you expect me to see a journal? Yeah, fair enough. Not only are you insulting the fence, it appears you are stupid as well. Oh, hey! Hold on the insults. Call it even, and until you apologize, villain. Or shall I provoke you more? I apologize. Well, then I suppose as a point of honor, I must accept your apology. Verbal, in return, I offer my apology as well. Let's set the matter aside and speak no more of it. This guy is weird. And what I mean, I probably shouldn't ask this, but let's just go for it. Ferret, Collector, these are names in terms of familiar to me. But if you hear them mentioned in any other context, I should suddenly remember your face. Well, thank you for that. So you know what? Screw you. Ooh. That's a big guy. He has a merciful patron, so I don't think I actually need to talk to you, but you walked up to me very purposefully. There's so many people. Okay, so Dakon over here. The number for you is old. Very old, apparently. His dry yellow skin has the scars of one who has traveled everywhere and never rested along in any one place. His pinched face is inhumanely angular, and his ears sweep out from his skull, tapering to points. He wears a loose-fitting orange tunic, and a strange shimmering blade is strapped across his back. The blade looks to be a two-pronged glaive, made of some metal whose surface swirls like a film of oil on a pond. Interesting. The man turns to you, his eyes like polished coal. He stares through you, and for a moment you wonder if he might be blind. The weapon suddenly turns a dead, flat black, mirroring the man's eyes. Are you cool? Ooh, you have a voice. Interesting. Well, a little bit of a voice. Indeed, he said, "Hail, traveler! Hail!"
Your eyes of the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place.
I think you're special because you have voice acting, and yeah, I have traveled a bit far, you could probably say. Well, the maze gaze does not waver from yours. I am known as Dakon. The emphasis he places on the words known strikes as odd, yet familiar at the same time. You are not known to me. Well, I kinda don't know myself, in a way. That is for the best. In knowing yourself, there would be little in the place left worth knowing. True, perhaps. He falls silent for a moment, still studying you with his cold black eyes. I wouldn't know why you've come to this city, and I indeed are looking for answers to my many questions, primarily a Farad and a journal, but probably others as well. Yeah, I'm just going to go on about the Farad journal here. So, what are you? You are a Gitzerai, so you are the person that apparently was staring at me. So what is a Gitzerai? One of the people. So what do you mean by one of the people? A Gitzerai. Sure, but what exactly are Gitzerai? Dagon is silent for a moment and speaks. Our history does not need to be made known to you. You would bleed to death on Time's blade before I recited a fraction of the histories of our people. That's fair enough. What's bad about your people right now? And is silent for a moment. No, this is accepted as an answer. We are the people who make our home upon the shifting plane of limbo. Okay, so you're part of a limbo. With that motion, Dagon slips the blade from his back and holds it before him. I'll just wait. There, we mold the matter of limbo with our minds. We forge cities with our thoughts. Ooh. Well, that's useful. As you watch, a series of rippling waves of metal begins to roll forth from the center of the blade. The pitch and crest of the waves match the inflections in Dakon's voice. In its chaos we dwell, with only our knowing to preserve us. We are Gitsurai. Okay, so yeah, indeed, your weapons seem to be slightly connected to your voice. Or maybe you? It's a Karach blade. It's an object that lets others know the rank of the wielder. So what does Karach mean? And it falls silent for a moment. In your tongue, the closest translation is chaos matter. Well, that's fancy. The people may shape it with their thoughts. So, okay, so not voice, but actually thought. So how does one do that? Karach is not shaped by heat, but by knowing oneself. It is a mirror that reflects the will of the wielder on the surface and in its edge. When one knows themselves, the blade is strong, harder and stronger than steel. When one does not know themselves, the blade is water, formless and weak. So, would you sell that to me? But yeah, what is the rank? How does that signify anything? The blade is a symbol carried by the Surth. A Surth is one who knows the word of Surthemon. In knowing the words of Surthemon, they know themselves. So what's Surthemon? Surthemon founded our race. He knew the Gitsurai before they knew themselves. He defined the people who gave them one mind, so basically the god. And so it's made of it's made of chaos thought. Would you be willing to sell it? It would become as nothing in the hands of another. The blade knows my mind and I know its heart. We die the same death. Well, that's fancy. And indeed, you're really concerned about knowing, so what's up with that? All things, whether structure or flesh, their existence is defined by their knowing of themselves. And what if I don't know myself like sort of I do? When a mind does not know itself, it is flawed. When a mind is flawed, the man is flawed. When a man is flawed, that which he touches is flawed. It is said that what a flawed man sees, his hands make broken. So do you know yourself? And it doesn't actually tell me. His callback eyes stay on the same distance that you noticed when you first spoke. I'll just ask him again. And when he speaks again, it is not my will that you know this. Fair enough. Well, I'm actually just going to budge him a bit about this. Well, the words come out of Dagon slowly as they are being carried one by one. It has come to pass that I do not know myself. Ooh, so you don't know yourself. So what's up with that? It drops to a whisper. I do not know why. Or rather, I don't know why. I know this happened, but I know not the how, nor the when, nor how to know myself once more. Okay, well, more questions. And now I basically just have the rest of the standard stuff. What about Farad? You don't know Farad. What about a journal? Yep, no knowledge about that. I can ask about the city. There's not been a sigil among the people. It is known as a city that does not know itself. What do you mean by that? The city exists, but it does not know itself. In not knowing itself, its existence is flawed. Exactly how then? The city exists in the opposition to itself. It has set itself apart from the planes, yet it seeks to be everywhere at once. Its walls are doors, yet it keeps the doors locked. Such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself. In not knowing itself, it is flawed. So, with truth here, apparently I can say, what if city is not flawed? A thing does not need to be ordered to have a purpose in itself. What if these contradictions are strength that you cannot see? Ooh. To your question, a question. What if the city is flawed and you see its contradiction all around you? Well, to your question, a question. Apparently, you claim the city existence is flawed. You have accepted this rather than explore the possibility and something greater may exist. That suggests that you are flawed, and you do not search for knowledge but only for a convenient answer. Is that true? Really? I mean, sure, yes. Obviously, if he asserts that the city doesn't know itself and that it is flawed, just again asserts that is true, then yes, indeed, he is actually not looking to actually know things. So yeah, that is sort of true. There is no knowing the answer to the questions we have asked, yet the city exists. That is all. Well, I would maintain that we know ourselves, but the questions we ask are the ones we do not. If we cease asking questions except only what we can perceive, then yes, indeed, we will never actually know the truth about anything. And then we will cease to know ourselves. Ooh, I did something here. Such words have been spoken before. I have heard them and know them. Where have you heard them before? Well, the words are mine. Once I knew them and knew their meaning, I had forgotten them until you spoke. His gaze travels through you, and his blade stops shimmering, bleeding of all color until it is translucent. It's a moment of silence when he looks up to you. I will travel your path with us. Ooh. Hello, new member of my team. Oh, yeah.
Your path is mine.
Awesome. I have another person with a cool axe, and hopefully this is another warrior. There he is. Who are you then, Mr. Dakon? Fighter mage. Not exactly what I was going for, but interesting. So you're actually similarly set up as me, in that you can actually have tattoos as well. You come with an unbroken circlet of Serthimon, which is a thing you cannot even move. A small round stone is the unbroken circlet of Serthimon. The unbroken circlet is a Serth religious text. Can't do anything. It says usable.
I cannot part with that.
Can't do anything with it. You also have a whispering flask. That's something we can do. Okay, so we can place that here. So you get aid, which is +2 to strength. So do I actually now have access to? Yes, I do. Oh, those are interesting symbols. So those are the memorized, those are the known. I currently know Reign of... So this is not like Dungeons and Dragons or Baldur's Gate at all. Okay, I need to learn all of these then. So, Sertimon's teachings allows for the channeling of anger into streams of nourishing missiles that quickly strike those that oppose you. So is this just magic missiles? The spell summons a magic missile, yeah. The strikes the target unerringly for 3 to 6 points of damage. In addition, it casts against 1 extra missile every 2 levels for a total of 5 missiles to level 9. Yes, this is basically magic missiles. Okay, fair enough, want that one. Submerge the Will. So that is, don't exactly know what it does over here. When it will submerge, new strength is gained. The strength to endure and protect against adversity. With knowing that the teachings of the third circle of Serthimon comes greater protection against all forms of attack. So basically you get +1 to saving throws per level of the caster. Not too bad. But I want more of these. Can I just click? Do I only have 2 slots? Is that what I'm gathering? So what else do I have? Scripture of Steel. +1 to hit, +1 to save and throws to all creatures that are friendly to the caster. Ooh, that's pretty damn good though. Get rid of this one. Remove. Add that one. Oh yeah, so I do have 2. And we have Wilcar's Eye. If the target creature fails the saving throw at -1 penalty, the creature will be struck with blindness and suffer a -4 penalty attack rolls. No, I kind of like that one. Scripture of Steel. That's incredibly good. Right. So we have another party member. That's fascinating. Didn't think that I would get one of you in here. I can actually talk to Ignis now as well. I don't think I could before. Well, we have... this entire episode is going to be me in here, by the way. I just realized that there's a lot of people to talk to here. We have Ilki. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that. A short, rotund man with a perplexed expression on his face. From the lines on his loose skin, it looks like it's not too uncommon. He carries a flagon of ale that looks like it's in the process of being emptied rapidly. In between swallows, he speaks a gentle voice, so quiet you can barely hear his words. Hello, traveler. My name is Ilki. I'm going to call it Ilki. Can I be of some assistance? Well, I would ask you some questions. Who are you? I am but a humble man with a slight, flowery poetical bent and a tendency toward the supernatural. I regret that I have none of my supplies here. I should be most eager to teach you of the ways of power. So what is up with that? Can you teach me that now? Probably not. What about this place? Smouldering Corpse Tavern, a fine establishment with a fine owner. Barkis is a true gentleman and ambitious to increase his standing to boot. These, I feel, are the most usual qualities one can possess. And what about the patrons? Well, the patrons of the tavern are many and varied. I've spoken with most and find them delightful, with the exception of those creatures of the law. Or would those be those? He gestures toward a pair of Abishai sitting in the corner. I guess those are you. They taint the air with their presence, lending an unwholesome stench in an otherwise pleasant environment. I recommend speaking to Barkis. He understands he requires some aid with trifling matter. Let's do that. And then we have the O character. Instead of trying to understand him fully, it is quite an undertaking if I say so myself. Those are the folk of interest here. The others, well, perhaps I am too discriminating. And why do you despise the creatures? Well, a fine question, my friend. My upbringing has been on the chaotic side of the Great Ring. You may speak to Canon Ilborn of the place. Yeah, I don't remember. Is that the place with the beasts, maybe? He fancies himself a great planewalker. To return from my digression, I have lived many years with chaos, and I found it pleasantly agreeable. To me, the taint of law, as in those creatures over there, is reprehensible and tyrannical. If I'm to be crushed underfoot, I'd rather it be by an individual than a machine that knows nothing of emotion. I mean, sure, I guess. Apparently, my truth is that I do agree. This is interesting. How does this actually work? So it both I can say both truth and lie, but the same answer. Does it sort of shape me in any way? I mean, law is fine. I mean, I'm all for chaotic stuff, so I mean, I'm gonna say I very much agree. Well, to each his own, I say, do you have any more questions? Yes. Who is the Burning Man? I mean, I already know that, but let's see what your take on that is. That's the last unfortunate who chose to exercise his individual will without the strength to back up his desires. His name is Ignis, and he was a pyromaniac. He burned and burned and didn't burn the right people and wound up channeling more raw power than he could control. Now, well, you can see what became of him. If you wish to learn more of him, perhaps that poor creature Drusilla can help you. Well, farewell to you. Now, these are just regular people, so don't need to talk to you. Unless, there's a named... Yeah, they are named. Let's talk to you. You see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to him. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against himself. This one is missing a tooth on his right side. Tergarin, our old friend, has returned to pay us a visit. Oh, you know me, apparently. So he has, Aethelgrin, so he has. Yet his eyes do not gleam as once they did. What do you suppose brings him back to us? What does bring you back to us, friend? Well, who are you and how do you know me? Who are you? Ah, Ethelgrin, time has robbed our companion's memory. You honestly do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am aggrieved. Well, but what? As am I, Tergarin. Do you need to say your names all the time? Truly aggrieved, yet I rest easy. It has, after all, been many hundreds of years, and we now know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Ah, well spoken. Old friend, we are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignment in Bator. I am Tergarin, the thrice damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. So therefore you are thrice damned, apparently. This is Ethelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for lack of trying. So apparently you guys want names that are sort of defining who you are, I guess. And Ethelgrin ignores you as it responds to his companion. And once again, Tergarin, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter. Perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name thrice damned must surely have incurred. Well, I want to ask you stuff. And Mort whispers to me, Boss, I don't like this. They're not supposed to be here. The Blood War hasn't kicked the Celestials' asses bad enough that any fiend can go on furlough. They want something. Tread carefully. Okay, fair enough, I will. In his turn, Tergarin ignores you as he replies to his comrade. Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all. That is generally I mean, it could be true depending on which society you are a part of, I guess. Oh, friend, does this answer your question as to our identities? Absolutely not, but sure, whatever. Well, questions, well, we might be able to answer them. What are you doing here? Rather, what are you doing? What are we doing? Why is it not perfectly clear, old friend? We are on leave from beloved assignment, taking for ourselves some much-needed rest and perhaps inducing some additional recruitment for our glorious cause. Our superiors fully support our presence, to be sure. Now, is that actually a true statement, or is that a lie? In a more immediate sense, we are taking our entertainment in this delightful establishment, and, of course, we are celebrating the return of our old friend. Well, I mean, I just came here. However, the stench of the breezes, which occasionally waft the scent of goodness in the door, debases us somewhat, leaving us physically, mentally, and spiritually weaker. Fortunately, the air in this ward of the city carries a delicious tang of pain and supplication. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, fair enough. And, so what is this place? Well, this is the Smouldering Corpse Tavern, one of the most entertaining taverns your kind has seen fit to erect in the city. The poetic justice of the burning fellow at the front of the establishment is really quite a fine touch. Is there something else you wish to ask? I'll see. So, well, tell me about fiends, as you seem to be one of those, or two of those. As we see it, there are two kinds of fiends. Those who are correct, and those who are not. Our side, that of Batisu, is correct. Sure, if you say so. The other side, that of the cursed, hated, chaotic Tanari, is incorrect and must be exterminated. By any chance, am I a Tanari? No, but probably they're all fiends, by the way. So actually, I'm not on either side of this war, I guess. We hold the Tanari directly responsible for the Blood War. Were it not for them, we could have settled the lower planes in peace and wouldn't have all the bother of fighting this wretched war, nor would the unfortunate spillovers into other planes be such a cause for concern about the namby-pambing do-gooders. The Tanari are directly to blame for the multiverse sad state of affairs, but it seems like you were trying to butt into the lower planes. Yeah, but what's the difference between you? The fiend pauses a moment and brightens. Ah, yes, you see, we represent law and order. Those who break the law must be punished. If we have no law, we have only anarchy, and surely you can see what anarchy has done for the Abyss. It has spawned horrors beyond imagining. Any excesses the Batisu state may have indulged in are simply to counter the rising tide of chaos represented by the Tanari. We do no harm to anyone, we just prefer to understand where the boundaries are. You still haven't answered my questions other than sort of very loosely. But yeah, so you say that you are for law and order, but does that mean that they are for chaos? I don't know. So you know about Farod, maybe? Never have heard a name. Is it a sage of some sort? A necromancer? Or is it a divine of rubbish? I have heard of him, friend, but I do not have the pleasure of his company. Perhaps one of the other patrons can help you. I'll see about that. What about my journal? I keep no journals, and I counsel that you should not either. As for the Tegrin, why you should receive enlightenment? Well, why not then? Because, friend, it is easy to make the mistake of committing a true word to posterity, and easier still for someone you once trusted, and here issues a glance full of venom at Ethelgrin, to find that word and use it against you. Indeed, it can even lead to actions tantamount to desertion. Leaving or losing a journal can cost you your very existence. Well, that's fair. Well, Mort again butts in. I'm more sure than ever that these Burgs ain't on the up and up. Sounds to me like they're deserted. Like they're looking for some angle that'll elevate their status in Bator. You don't want to be talking to them, boss. You don't know what game they're playing and you could get burned. Well, okay, fair enough. I'm done with them. They seem to be rather okay with that. Right. Any more people over here? Yes, indeed. Mochai over here. That is a collector. But you appear busy for now. Oh, you actually are walking up to me. See someone dressed as a female dustman with half-empty glass in her right hand. As you near her, she calls out to you. You over there. You notice that there's not something wrong with her. Her exposure to dustmen leads you to believe that she's just too lively to be a real member of the faction. Huh. Well, I'll talk to her. Hey, Cutter, buy a lady a drink. Well, are you actually a dustman? She looks around nervously. Why do you say that? Because you don't act like a dusty. Apparently, I've already adopted slang here. You're not offering contracts. In fact, you're taking money instead of giving it out to the corpse labor they do in the mortuary. Ooh. Stuff a squeak of terror, nice to explain. No, I'm not a dustman. I just found these robes in the street and didn't have enough money to get close. And I heard there was a dustman thief around, but you could probably find him somewhere else in the southwest part of the hive. I saw him, but I hid from him. Okay. And, I could bribe her for money. No, let's not do that. I'm not planning on that, but you have to know you're not pulling it off too well. Now answer some questions for me. So who are you exactly? I'm Mokai, or Mokai. It's like the drinker and just a person, you know. Okay, fair enough. So what about this place? Smouldering Corpse Tavern. Can't you read? And more dumb than I am, apparently. What about the patrons here? Well, they're people. I don't deal much with people unless they're buying me a drink. She looks at you, hopefully. No, I'm not going to get a drink from me. And so who's the burning corpse, by the way? Well, some crazy wizard. Ask around. Okay, you're not really telling me much, are you? Yeah, okay, fair enough. So you just wanted a drink from me, apparently. Did I actually talk to the owner? Oh, we have O as well. Did I actually... No, Barkis. I haven't talked to Barkis. But let's talk to O first. Hello, letter O. You see a man standing stock still. He isn't moving a muscle. On close examination, it appears that he isn't even breathing. Just standing. His eye sockets are empty holes in his face. Contained within their bounds is a flat grey light that seems to dance with possibility. Looking into the sockets, the eerie, empty feeling of limitless void shivers through you as you gaze into a sliver of eternity. The head slowly swivels towards you. You notice that no muscles appear to move under the skin as it turns. When it speaks in a pure bell-like tone, well met, wanderer. You have forgotten again, haven't you? Oh, you seem to also sort of know me a bit. Do you know me? As he opens his mouth, you get the feeling of eternity again. Inside his mouth, you see no tongue, no teeth. It is almost as if the man were a shell surrounding an illimitable expanse. Fascinating. He's just hanging around here in a bar and everyone is just cool with that. This is a fascinating universe. I've spoken to you before, and always you forget. Your endless quest to discover yourself ends always in your amnesia. You draw close to the truth and recoil. Let us hope that you have the strength to endure your existence. So what do you know of me? Can you sort of enlighten me here? I know that you, like a fly, rise up from the wreckage of your old shell, buzz about for a time, and curl up and die at the window of truth. You bubble about the pain, seeking the light without any plan to your actions, and fall exhausted when you fail. You rely on others to feed from them for a time and move on with no regard for them. I watch you come here and listen to your words, and watch you move away no wiser. Will you learn from my mistakes, Seeker? I hope that my team members don't actually hear that, because they might be having a problem with me. So who are you anyway? I am O. For some reason, when he speaks his name, it sounds like he's speaking of much more than a single letter, as if he's speaking of his name contained untold possibilities and nuances. No human tongue could ever create such a sound. So presumably sort of a variation of the eternity symbol, I guess, because, you know, an O is a circle, eternity as well, in a way. So what sort of name is that? Well, it is my name. It is the name of a portion of eternity. I am a letter in the divine alphabet. Understanding me leads to understanding existence. I am writ in the true names of half of everything. My being encompasses truth. I am mathematic, organic, and metaphysics. So, what does all that mean? The divine alphabet is written in the name of everything that exists, from the seed at the hearts of the elemental planes to the core of the great beyond. My brothers/sisters, a single word translates into the two in your mind, and I reach across all that is, was, or ever shall be. We are thought and reality and concept and the unimaginable. Wow, okay. That means that you know all secret of existence, doesn't it? Well, I know parts of many of them. Without a connection to my brothers and sisters, I am but a letter. Alone, I am a symbol, combined with a language and a power. Okay, and so indeed, in some ways, that means you know nothing. What is it you should know? Well, have you seen my journal? So what about this divine alphabet? What actually does that mean? The divine alphabet is written in... Yeah, I've already said that. So what about the great beyond here? You would not understand. Of course I wouldn't. No mortal possibly could. It is beyond the powers of comprehension of all but the most powerful of powers. And once they understand, they move beyond the veil of mortal comprehension, and I can explain no more than that. Perhaps sometimes you will understand. So what are you doing exactly here? Why? I'm watching the ebb and flow of mortality. Exactly why? But yeah, what do you see? You mortals are like wasps. You build your life's nest from the slimmest of branches, and when the wind shakes your home life free, you seek to sting the wind to death. Instead of realizing your foolish mistakes, attempting to repair the damage you have caused yourselves, and learning from your experience, you bring harm to any who have the misfortune of to blunder near you in your time of pain and distress. My advice to you and to all mortals: stop acting like an insect and start acting sentient. Well, that's awfully rude of you, but sure. Can I ask you more stuff? What about my journal? Surely you should know where to find it. I know where you can find it. Thank you. Just tell me then. But it's not my place to reveal such information, of course. Rest assured you will find it, as well as the man you seek. So, yeah, do you know about Farad? I know where he is. I gave you only one word: nearby. You will find him in the hive under a veil of secrecy. And, I mean, it's a pretty decent answer after all. And what about the patrons over here? The patrons of this place are rarely at all mortal. Like all mortals, their concerns are limited, with the potential of blossoming into actual truth. I can tell you this, though: you may find a companion dear to your heart here, at least as dear as your heart will allow. Okay, so he would actually have told me about Dakon here. And I could get insulted, but I'll let it slip. Thank you for that information. Right, last person to talk to. Barkis over here. Who is a Barkis? Or Barkis. He's a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen color to his face. His teeth seems sharper than normal, and his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, eh? What do you want this time? I haven't even been here, so what do you mean by me again? Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now? You was in here about 15 years ago. Got all bobbed up, smashed up the place, and I've left a pile of corn that wasn't enough to pay for the damages. Okay. Had a bit of a drunken episode here. So you plucked out your own bleeding eyeball, and tells me you'll be back to reclaim it when you got 200 coins together. Can I get my other eye back? With 50 years of interest, you got about 500 coins. You got Jing Pal? I got your eye. You know what? That seems... Can I challenge him on this? That's ridiculous. Well, that is all. Tell you what, give me 300 ice horse. Yeah, there we go. It's a deal. Here's your money. It's a deal. He produces a darkened, wax-stoppered, wide-mouthed bottle from his pocket. You hear the sound of liquid sloshing around inside it, along with a heavier, squishier noise. Opening it, the stench of some sort of preservative agent nearly makes you gag. Floating in the viscid muck is an eyeball. You better figure out what you want to do with that. Now you explode it to the air, you might as well put a pickled egg in the jar for all the good it'll do to you. Make up your mind, Cutter, pickled egg or not. Throw out your eyeball and place this one in the socket. Should I do that? Yes, I should. There we go. With a moment's hesitation, you reach into your socket and pop your eye out into the palm of your hand. The bartender helpfully severs the optic nerve and directs your hand to the jar of goo that sits on the bar. You deposit your eye in the preservative, wrap your fingers around the old one, and slide it into your empty socket. The pain of this entire operation is incredible. After a moment, though, you can feel the optic nerve reattaching itself to this new eye, and suddenly you're hit by a flash of memory. Ooh, are we gonna get a bit of a cutscene here? Memory. No, actually no cutscene, but three memory flashes. A vast expanse of chaotic, ever-changing wasteland stretching before you. A group of humanoid vultures plummeting toward you, cruel weapons ready to strike, your own shining blade clutched tight in your fist. So that seems like those guys potentially. And then the next one, three tufts surrounding you in the colors of an enemy you can't quite place. Long daggers glisten in their hands, and the light glints cruelly from their exposed teeth. You glance at your scarred hands and know that soon they'll be covered in blood. Okay. My imminent death, maybe? And last one, enormous frog-like creature. comes bounding over, through, under, a bit of everything apparently, chaos stuff, headed for you with a mouth full of teeth. You hurl a javelin through the shifting matter and pin the creature to a sudden stone plinth. You recall some of your lost fighting skills. Well, there we go. More. Let me ask a bit more. Proficiency points increased permanently. Nice. So who are you anyway? Well, Bark is owner-keeper of this place, and this place is indeed this Smouldering Corpse. Best damn bubbles in Sigil. At least it's the best damn bubbles in this part of the Hive, which makes it one of the best in Sigil. Well, are there more than one? Well, they got the fancy places with plants such in the Ladies' Ward, and they got Fiendish taverns salted around the rest of the Hive, but none of them got the character of the Smouldering Corpse. I don't want to ask more about the corpse at this point. I've grown tired. Have you see my journal, by the way? Paper and words. Friend, that sort of thing don't get much stock down here in the Hive. Folks here can barely read a sign above the door, much less an entire journal. If you're looking for a journal, you better to have a system instead of asking folks nilly-willy. Fair enough, you know. Can you tell me anything about Farad? Well, you may just as well turn your back and let him sink a dagger in it. From the looks of you already have. If you're dead set on finding Farad, pardon the pun, talk to Ebb Creek niece over there. You should know something of value. Fair enough. I'm okay with that. Let's see if we can talk to Ignis as well. So, this crackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill up on the floor of the bar. It may once have been human, but now his skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire from a wreath around the creature's body, and the flames lick at the few remaining pockets of flesh, causing it to bubble and run like wax down the creature's skeletal frames. Ooh. Interesting. Let's examine it a bit more. The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. To your surprise, the iron grill the creature floats above is sagged and bent from the heat. That is hot indeed. At first, you thought the heat came from the grill, but I realized it emanates from the creature. As you watch, flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse and float slowly to the ceiling. Hello. The thing makes no response. It rises slowly within the flames. It lives, but it doesn't seem to be aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds it. Its skin is flame, its heart is flame, and you know, within some shadowed corner of your memory, this thing is dangerous. Let's keep examining it. Okay, and we're fine. that's fine. Have I taken damage? Have I taken damage at some point? Maybe from standing so close to that creature, potentially. I kind of want to talk to you guys again. Because have I unlocked a memory? Let's see if I have anything else to say. Okay, so you say something and the project returns. The fiend hisses and smiles at you. Noxious vapors quoted from the corner's mouth. Have your memories returned to you, old friend? Well, I kind of have, I think. What I mean, dear man, is at that time, our old enemy has performed a vicious disservice on you. It disrupts your memories and steals your recollections. If you do not recall us, why it is because you have fallen prey to one of mortality's weaknesses. We are old friends of yours, old indeed. What can we do for you? And I don't have any more things to say. No. Okay. Wrong button. Right. So this was the Smouldering Corpse episode. That was a lot of stuff. I'm both happy that I got here, but a bit annoyed because there was so much stuff to do. We're gonna have to follow Farad next time around, but now I have a friend. I have Dakon over here. He's fun. And by the way... yeah, I have more weapon proficiencies. I want to be a mage, by the way. When can I be a mage? I'm gonna get close to actually looking this up, because I'm pretty sure that I wasn't able to select class at the beginning of the game. If I did, I'm gonna be annoyed, because I'm basically gonna have to redo things. But I'll keep going for a while. But it is actually not a... it actually isn't... I'm blacking on the word. Impossible is probably what I was going for. It's not impossible that I actually look into that. I mean, I've also not chosen my alignment. I don't think I was able to do that when I created my character. But yeah, I might actually have a bit of a look into that. We're 6 episodes in, and I don't want to really go forward too much if it is in fact something that I have missed and can't change, because obviously I'm not a good fighter with the skills that I have, so yeah, maybe I should actually look into that. We shall see on the next episode. If that's the case, I might replay some stuff, and you shall find me a bit different if that is the case. Otherwise, we shall just keep on going. So, for now, this has been Ghostmith Gaming with me, Christopher. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.